Alright, this is Fakafon's review of Dracula Kids. Dracula Kid is a game that's actually very reminiscent of older games. If only. No, actually this game is more based on the old Castlevania games. No! No! This said, basing a game on an old Castlevania game is actually a good idea because, you know, Castlevania games were pretty good at the time. The problem is, basing yourself on an old Castlevania games means you're gonna have you're gonna have to pull through and make a really good game. Which sadly this game is not. There's a few problems that just stop it from achieving greatness. And this is a real shame too, because you can see this game that it could have been really good, but it just got pulled back by all those little problems. Like for example, the enemy selection is very stuck. I mean, you fight skeletons, dude with axes, dude with crossbows, and zombies, and yeah, it's not very creative. But on the upside, there are some creative enemies that I really enjoyed. Like those kind of gargoyles that punch the floor. There were some like flying eyeballs that shoot lasers, and there was even at some point some kind of saw, like a circular saw on legs. That was pretty awesome, but it only lasted one level near the end, so and anyway, most of the time you're just gonna fight the zombies, so whatever. When it comes to dispatching those enemies, that's where the auto-aim can be a little bit off. You see, it's not completely 2D. You take some twists and turns. Even though it's a linear path, you're turning. So sometimes the enemies are not right in front of you, so you have to whip them by turning. And the problem is, when you're moving, he won't auto-aim, so you gotta stop and whip. And even then, the auto-aim doesn't always work, and you don't even whip the enemy right, so they keep hitting you, and that's annoying. And it's not helped by the fact that the enemies, sometimes you just can't see them because the camera is always fixed on you, and you can't see what's going in front of you. So you turn a corner, and then BAM! An enemy on your face. That's really annoying because it happens a lot. But you know what? Enough of my bitching. Let's talk about the story of the game, well, just because. Now, the story of the game is really not that amazing. Dracula and his kids are eating because vampires eat, and then like some really stereotypical like maniacal guy comes in, sprays them with like, I don't know, garlic powder. Dracula doesn't lift a finger and just like falls unconscious, and then you wake up in a cemetery full of zombies because yeah. And then the rest of the game is just trying to save your daddy because he's a what? See, that's my problem in this game. Dracula sucks ass. He doesn't do anything. You never see him, and the only time you see him in the like that little storyboard there, he just gets knocked out without doing anything. The guy comes in, the Dracula's like, yeah, and the other guy's like, eat my garlic, bitch. Oh, I'm falling unconscious. And it's up to his kids to save him, of course. You know, when you're making the vampires from Twilight look badass, you suck. Anyway, la-di-da, you kill some zombies, you kill some dude with axes, and then you get to the boss, you kick his ass, get to the boss again, kick his ass like Robotnik style, and then you get to the last boss. And the last boss is a masterpiece of shitty boss. I've never seen anything this crappy. Okay, that's not true. I've seen crappier, but this really, it's one of the tops. I've never seen such a boring boss in my entire life. Look at this. This is the last boss. He sucks ass! But no matter. I mean, there have been some other games in the past that have some crappy last boss, but the game was still really fun, so maybe it's the same thing with this game. Maybe the level design is really fun. The level design in Dracula Kids is extremely basic. You want basic shit? This is as pure as it ever gets. The platforming is extremely easy. The puzzles they're not even puzzles, and the traps are so predictable. So basically, this game, well, it was made for kids, really, which would explain the title. But for some reason, even though this game is really easy, it's also a very hard game because there's not much room to fuck up, if that makes any sense. You don't get a lot of extra lives. In fact, you get extra lives very rarely. When you finish a chapter, you get an extra life, and sometimes when you destroy a lantern, it gives you an extra life. But most of the time, you're just gonna have to tough it out. Which brings me to an interesting point, actually. You can take a few hits before you die. But the more you take some hits, the more your face turns into an alien face. What's up with that? Well, there are some things that kill you in one shot, of course, like water. Actually, I have an explanation for that one. I do. It's holy water. Yeah. I mean, Dracula was walking around in his castle and he said, "You know what, kids? We should really put the most deadly things of vampires right into our own home." Well, that's a great idea, Dad! You fucking moron! Just no wonder that guy got killed so easily. Got, like, taken away so easily. He's an idiot! I don't care if he's the lord of all vampires, he's a fucking incompetent buffoon. And don't try to pin all this on the bad guy. The bad guy just came in and sprayed the guys. He didn't have time to set all this up. Although he did have time to get into those giant robots. Whatever, man. Dracula's an idiot. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, so yeah, the stages are not that great, combat's not that good, but the music, now this I gotta say, no complaint. The music is really good and I really enjoyed it. I also quite enjoyed the graphics. Were pretty good graphics, so no complaints over there either. No, where the game really fell on its ass for me is the save feature. I don't know what the fuck the thinking was behind the save feature, but it just saves at pure random. At some pre-selected stage, for some obscure reason it just saves, okay? When you end a chapter it saves, that makes sense, but in between chapters it just saves at completely random chapters. I don't get it. You can't save yourself, you just gotta hope it saves. That fucking sucks. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it for Dracula Kids. There isn't much else to say. I could tell you about the... actually, there's one thing I forgot to mention. You can play as either the guy or the girl. But there's one problem when I try to play the girl. Every time I try to play the girl, this happens. Fuck it, I don't want to play this. So sorry, I can't do anything about it. It's a constant problem. But yeah, end of review. Dracula Kids. Now, I'm not a complete asshole and I'm not a complete idiot. I can clearly see this game has been made for kids, and for that, it works. It's a good game for kids. I recommend it for kids. But me, I'm an elitist. I'm an asshole. I'm grown up, so I've played a lot of games in my time, and this just isn't up to my speed anymore. So, even though it isn't great for me, I mean, if I put it like a 6 out of 10, I recommend it to kids. So, yeah. Closing statement, Dracula sucks.